What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to part 2 or disc 2 of Pink Floyd's The Wall. So, the last video, disc number 1, did pretty well. It's over like 1,000 views at this point, which is just amazing. I mean, I wasn't expecting these reactions to like be able to hit like 1,000 views like consistently. That's a pretty huge feat. Feat is that the right word? But yeah, we also recently hit 900 subscribers. So thank you everyone so much for that. I mean, this has been a crazy journey so far, and we're not even at 1,000 subscribers yet, and it's just been such a um, it's been fun. It's been fun, and so thank you everyone for watching these videos. And thanks for your support. The comments recently have been really supportive. Honestly, like when I first started making videos, there were definitely a lot more negativity about how I was doing these videos, but nowadays it's like a rare thing for there to be um, negativity. So that shows that I must be doing something right, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's that. Yeah, disc number 1 was amazing. I just listened to it again today, just in preparation for this video. I just recently listened to it like no pauses. But yeah, I am going to be pausing in between each track in this video just to look at the lyrics on maybe not every single track, but on some of the tracks. Because, you know, in the last video, I felt like I did a decent job, um, you know, interpreting the music myself. I felt like, and people told me that, yeah, I was getting the the theme of the wall pretty well, pretty accurately, and I think that reading the lyrics actually helped me understand the concept of the wall. So, I'm gonna do that for this disc too, because I'm interested where this story is going to go. When we left off at Goodbye, Cruel World and Don't Leave Me Now, and it was it was turning kind of to a darker turn, um, and the wall was being completed finally, and I think by the end of disc 1 the wall is completely up, and he has completely shut himself off and isolated himself maybe. And so I'm interested to where this is going to go next. Um, we got another 13 tracks, I think. Yeah, another 13 tracks. So that's honestly kind of why I split this up into two videos, like I explained in the last video. We got another. I already said that, but we have a lot more tracks. So yeah, let's get into track number 1. Hey You, and this is another popular one. Um, just wanted to mention right now, if you didn't, if you weren't here for the last video, unfortunately, and this is bad news. I have already listened to Comfortably Numb many times before. It is one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs, actually, and I love everything about it, to be honest. And the guitar solo is just one of the best guitar solos, if not the best guitar solo of all time. I think it could be considered the best guitar solo of all time. But unfortunately, I've already listened to it, and hopefully that doesn't take away from the experience too much. I mean, I haven't heard anything else, so yeah, and I'm still gonna be listening to Comfortably Numb, and it's gonna be in the context of the album, so that does make it a little bit different. But yeah, let's get into track number 1, Hey You. Okay, we got David Gilmour singing. Nice guitar. And bass. I like the bass, actually.
Hey you, out there in the cold, getting lonely, getting old, can you feel me? Hey you,
I like this
standing
one.
in the aisles with itchy feet and fading smiles, can you feel me? Hey you, don't help them to bury the light.
Nice lyrics.
Don't give in without a fight.
So is someone talking to Pink?
Hey you, out there on your own, sitting naked by the phone, would you touch me?
Nice drums.
Hey you, with your ear against the wall, waiting for someone to call out, would you touch me?
I think there's some Roger backing vocals.
Would you help me to carry the stone? Open your heart,
Ooh, guitar solo.
I'm coming home.
Uh-oh. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm getting chills right now.
But it was only fantasy.
That was one of the best guitar solos so far.
The wall was too high, as you can see. No matter how he tried, he could not break free.
Oh.
And the ones ate into his brain.
Ooh, the synth. This is giving me like Meddle vibes. Am I crazy for that? For thinking that? This is Echoes!
Hey you, out there on the road, always doing what you're told. Can you help me? Hey you, out there beyond the wall, breaking bottles in the hall. Can you
Dude, the vocals from Roger. That transition was perfect. My god. Okay. That was one of my favorites off this whole album so far, actually. It's popular for a reason, but damn. Immediately after finishing his wall, Pink begins to wonder, too little, too late, whether he's made the right decision in completely isolating himself from the world. Okay. I will go through the lyrics on this one, so if you just want to skip to the next track, then the timestamps are in the description and in the comments. So, yeah, if you just don't care about me going through these lyrics, and yeah, you know what I mean. Um, hey, you out there in the cold, getting lonely, getting old, can you feel me? So, the person talking in this song, Pink, represents both the death and a dead person. Huh? But it was all just fantasy, and the worms ate into his brain. The person is calling out to people beyond the wall, which represents the wall between the living and the dead. I don't know if I don't like this annotation. I can already tell. I just don't like that. I think this is someone maybe talking to Pink. Like, hey, you. I know you're isolating yourself, but can you accept help from me? Can you see me? Can you feel me? Like, hey, you standing in the aisles with itchy feet and fading smiles, can you feel me? Don't help them to bury the light. Don't give in without a fight. So he's saying to the Pink, maybe, to not give up, you know? Don't don't put up this wall. Hey, you out there on your own, sitting naked by the phone, would you touch me? With your ear against the wall, waiting for someone to call out, would you touch me? Would you help me to carry the stone? Open your heart, I'm coming home. But it was only fantasy, and now we get to Roger. The wall was too high, as you can see. No matter how he tried, he could not break free, and the worms ate into his brain. Damn. That is pretty, like, I feel like the lyrics in this album have really great imagery and just get kind of straight to the point in a way, if that makes sense. The wall was too high. All of this talk of not giving in and coming home and opening his heart up to this point in the song was just that. Pink is way too secluded and enclosed inside his wall to break free. All his pondering and second thoughts are for nothing. At the same time, given he attempted to call for help repeatedly, Pink realizes that trying to change society's ways on his own is simply a fantasy. Pink's wall is too high, and he is so secluded from the world that he can't break free from the wall. Faced with the impossibility of change, his alienation from other people begins. Worms are a symbol for decay throughout the album. Interesting. More specifically, mental decay. This particular line is saying that since Pink couldn't escape from his isolation behind a figurative wall, mental decay began to set in. Interesting. Hey, out there on the road, always doing what you're told, can you help me? Out there beyond the wall, breaking bottles in the hall, can you help me? Hey, don't... Wait, so maybe no. Maybe this is him talking to someone. Maybe this is Pink trying to talk to someone else? Out there beyond the wall, breaking bottles in the hall, can you help me? Don't tell me there's no hope at all. Together we stand, divided we fall. Interesting track. That's gonna require some more listens to fully get. Let's keep going though. Is there anybody out there? Next track.
Is there anybody out there?
Ooh.
Is there anybody out there?
Damn, this atmosphere.
Is there anybody
Holy,
out there?
this is trippy.
Is there anybody out there?
My God. Now he's maybe regretting it. The production is amazing. I like the strings in this guitar. Let's keep going. That was a good transition track. Huh. So now he's just like deep in the waters. Dude, I like these sound effects and samples that they put in. Wait, I don't know. No, it's not a sample. It's like
A little black buck with my pony.
their own creation.
Got a bag, got a toothbrush and a comb. When I'm a good dog, they sometimes throw me a bone. I got got those swollen hand blues.
Nice piano.
I got 13 channels of shit on the TV to choose from.
True.
I got electric light. I got second sight. Got amazing
More strings.
powers of observation.
I like how the music is matching the mood.
That is how I know. When I try to get through,
This is
telephone
amazing.
to you. There'll be nobody home. I got the obligatory Hendrix peg and the inevitable.
I didn't think it would get better.
All down the front of my favorite satin shirt.
Dude, his singing!
Stains on my fingers. I got a silver spoon on a chain. Got a grand piano to prop up my mortal remains. I got wild staring eyes. And I got a strong urge to fly. But I got nowhere to fly to. Fly to, 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 fly to. Oh, babe, when I pick up the phone, there's still nobody home. Go Hills boots, and I got fading roots.
That was one of the best Pink Floyd songs I've ever heard. I just really like strings, I guess, but they just, I didn't know they had that in them. I didn't know they had is this like a rock opera type song? Don't know how to, what's the word? Ballad? Is this a, don't know what the exact word is for it, but yeah, they nailed it. And Roger's singing was, wow. I mean, wow. I think that's some of the best singing from Roger I've ever heard. I'll go through the lyrics now. I don't know if I want to go through this part. Oh, Pink is still channel surfing and has switched to a 1967 episode of the Army comedy. Okay. I've got a little black book with my poems in. Got a bag with a toothbrush and a comb in. When I'm a good dog, they sometimes throw me a bone in. I got elastic bands keeping my shoes on. So I guess he's just describing his life now that he's isolated himself. And that is how I know when I try to get through on the telephone to you, there will be nobody home. That's interesting. See, I'm kind of um, wary of these annotations for this, because, like, I haven't liked a majority of these so far, which is not good. So far, the majority of the discussion of the song has focused on the discord created by the alternating ideas of artistic yearning and mundane, if not altogether oppressive, reality. But what of the chorus and its reiterations of nobody's home? Just who is Pink trying to reach when I pick up the phone? At face value, one would naturally conclude that Pink is trying to reach his wife, the only person he has tried to call throughout the entirety of the album. The last time he tried phoning her resulted in another man answering. Oh, 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 so that's what I missed on the last disc. I forgot what track it was now. Was it Young Lust? I don't know. Where at the end of the track, there was like the phone call, and then, yeah. So apparently that's how he found out his wife was cheating on him. Although it remains unknown as to whether he's tried reaching her again after the infamous phone call at the end of Young Lust or Mother in the movie. One can assume that she hasn't answered his calls even if he has, causing him to opine time and again that there's nobody home for him to connect to in both a literal and figurative sense. Interesting. Maybe that's what that's about. I've got wild staring eyes, and I've got a strong urge to fly, but I've got nowhere to fly to. Damn. The idea of dreams versus reality is further touched on when Pink sings I have a strong urge to fly, his voice soaring with the piano and orchestra before descending back to reality as he realizes that I have nowhere to fly to. In other words, his spirit yearns for a freedom he cannot obtain because he is bound by the weight of his own wall, and he has no true home or loved one to which he can fly. Alright. I think I understand that track pretty well. That is sad though. Next track, Vera. Where are you, Simon?
Does anybody here remember Vera Lynn? Remember how she said that we
Vera
would
Lynn.
meet again some sunny day?
That was sharp.
Vera, Vera, what has become of you? Does anybody
These strings,
else here
dude.
feel the way I do?
Let's keep going. I don't know. what that track was about. I'm not gonna go into it though. Let's keep going. Bring the boys back home. What? Wow, the marching drum. Dude, the freaking opera? What is going on? Holy shit. This is getting crazy. This is... Okay. The personal and social devastation caused by conflict, like the death of Pink's father, is alluded to in the entreaty to bring all soldiers home from war. So this is a... There's more to the song than a simple war protest. As Waters goes on to state in the same aforementioned interview, Bring the Boys Back Home is partly about not letting people go off and be killed in wars, but it's also partly about not allowing rock and roll or making cars or selling soap or getting involved in biological research or anything that anybody might do, not letting that become such an important and Jolly Boys game that it becomes more important than friends, wives, children, and other people. In other words, the song is Pink's realization as to the dangers of defining oneself by the detritus? What the hell is that word? Self by the detritus of life. Those very things warned about in What Shall We Do Now? What is that? Rather than the truly meaningful connections of family, community, and humanity. Pink's journey thus far in the album's second half has been a metaphorical one of returning home, with the current song focusing him on that very task. No longer just the soldiers fighting in any war, the lyrics Boys also becomes a reference to Pink and a personal call to abandon the war within himself and return back to his roots. That is an interesting interpretation. Could be wrong, could be right. I think this part is obviously true, but this part, I don't know. Anyway, like I don't think. Okay, let's keep going. You know, I feel like I am getting a tiny bit lost here. I don't know. It's just like a lot of things are going on, but I think the next song kind of like clarifies where we're at in the story pretty well. Comfortably Numb. So yeah. Alright, let's keep going. Track number 6, Comfortably Numb. And this track is just one of the best tracks of all time. I didn't know that this was Rogers. Why do I keep saying Rogers? Rogers. I can't help but sing. And then we get David on the pre-chorus and the chorus. I love the strings here, the violin. I think at least that's violin. I lost where I am. This is the first guitar solo. I really like how Roger sings on this song and on previous songs. Well, basically, I really like how he sings on this entire album. He has like no one does that. No one does those like pauses. We got like some horns in the mix as well. They're barely there, but I think there's some horns. Yeah, like a little bit. Here we go. I need a second, dude. Okay. I didn't expect myself to cry like this. I didn't. I'm actually still crying. I I keep playing the solo back in my head. And it keeps evoking emotion in me. I don't even. Yeah, that's the best guitar solo of all time. That's the best guitar solo of all time. The fact that just thinking about it was making me emotional too. Like, oh my, I was just like replaying it, and then, damn. Okay, that was a lot of emotion. I just showed. I mean, I didn't expect myself to cry that much. But, you know, it's a good thing to get your emotions out. Um, at least that's my opinion. Okay, let's go through the lyrics. I need, like, a bit more time to recover. Okay, so let's go through the lyrics here. I actually thought that it would be interesting to go through these lyrics. If you just want to skip to the next track, go ahead. Um, Hello, is there anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? I hear you're feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain and get you on your feet again. Relax. I'll need some information first. Just the basic facts. Can you show me where it hurts? So is this the doctor talking to Pink? Oh, interesting. Pink is completely out of it. He is drugged, enclosed inside himself, and unable to function. He is needed to play the show, and the doctors are trying to get some sort of response out of his blank state. A slight nod with the head would do to show he's dozing off but still listening. The doctor's lines are somewhat monotonous, making them sound distant. This emphasizes not only the drug state Pink is in, but also his distrust for the doctor. As the wall grows, Pink does not see any sincerity in the doctor's words and thinks of him as another manipulative brick in the wall. The pain Pink feels isn't an emotional one, rather than physical. The doctor hints at understanding this. I hear you're feeling down, which would make him a source of hope for Pink, but follows up by acting like Pink's pain is a physical one. Can you show me where it hurts? That can be healed with drugs and medicine. I can ease your pain. Roger based the song on the time when he was diagnosed with hepatitis prior to a concert. There is no pain, you are receding. So now, oh, so basically this is the doctor speaking the entire time? Or no? As the doctor goes on and on about easing Pink's pain, Pink, oh, never mind. This is Pink talking. Pink finally explains to him that he is not in pain, but the opposite, at a somewhat peace. This is due to the fact that he is heavily drugged, as he goes on to explain the floating numbness he feels. This is the result of the wall. That's exactly the problem. There is no pain. He can't feel anything. That's why when the doctor says he knows his pain, Pink knows deep down he doesn't, since his problem is that there is no such pain. That's interesting. We see that the doctor is giving him some physical medicine, so this might also refer to explaining there is no physical pain. A distant ship, smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Another reference to the drug. When I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt just like two balloons. I always wonder what he meant by this. His hands are swollen from an unknown illness. In the video, you can see him playing with a rat, leading us to believe that is the source of the illness. To feel that your hands are bigger than normal is also a common side effect from drugs. And then we got a quote from Roger here. When I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt just like two balloons. Were autobiographical. I remember having the flu or something, an infection with a temperature of 105 and being delirious. It wasn't like the hands looked like balloons, but they looked way too big, frightening. A lot of people think those lines are about masturbation. God knows why. Huh? Yeah, God knows why indeed. What? I don't know how you get. Okay. My hands felt just like two balloons. Talks about a common side effect from herpes virus. The effect is called Alice in Wonderland syndrome, and it changes one's perception of size and distance. Now I've got that feeling once again. I can't explain. You would not understand. This is not how I am. He claims he's not usually like this, but in reality he's lying, for he is usually like this. He's been building the wall his whole life, distancing himself from the world around him, and so on. This line may also signify that he could be so much more. He is so much more, if only he wasn't crippled by the depression and antisocial attitude caused by his mother's smothering, paranoia, and the fear she instilled in him about the dangers of the outside world and other people, as well as the brutality he suffered at the hands of his sadistic teachers. So I have become comfortably numb. I think what he means by this basically is that he's at the point where he'd rather live his way of life with the wall up because it's more comfortable to him, and even though he's numb and not seeing the world around him, he is comfortable. And that is kind of a weird thing to say, but but when you're that deep inside, or when you're that isolated, it's hard to see anything else outside of your own perspective. And you, yeah. The comfortable numbness can refer to his emotional state at this point in the album. He has gone from feeling lonely and in pain to simply numb, with a hazy division between himself and the world. The whole song is actually based on a true story from when Roger got sick from hepatitis, which was undiagnosed prior to the concert, before his show in Philadelphia in 1977. The doctor injected him with some form of tranquilizer to enable him to perform the show. These tranquilizers made him feel comfortably numb. That's kind of a different interpretation from what I had, but okay. Let's let's end the analysis there. Let's keep going. I spent a lot of time on that track, but yeah, let's keep going. Let's maybe let this one transition into the next one. Nice vocals.
The show must go on.
Let's keep going. Ooh. So we got In the Flesh, but without the question mark now. And it sounds similar. I love that organ. I still don't know if that's an organ or not. Nice vocals. This entire album has just had amazing vocals.
So ya thought ya might like to go to the show
It's like the same lyrics
to
as.
feel the warm thrill of confusion and space cadet glow.
I love the vibe on this one.
I got some bad news for you, sunshine. Pink isn't well. He stayed back at the hotel and they sent us along as a surrogate band. We're gonna find out where you fans really stand. Are there any queers in the theater tonight? Get 'em up against the wall. Now there's one in the spotlight, he don't look right to me. Get him up against the wall. And that one looks Jewish, and that one's a cool. Putting all this riffraff into the room. There's one smoking a joint, and another with spots. If I had my way, I'd have all that shot.
Wow. Okay. Let's see where this is going. So you thought you might like to go to the show to feel the warm thrill of confusion, that space cadet glow? This iteration of the song starts the same way as the original, but the lack of a question mark in the title clues the listener to expect a very different experience. I've got some bad news for you, sunshine. Pink isn't well. He stayed back at the hotel. At the height of his mental unraveling, Pink fantasizes about being a fascist dictator performing. What? Where does it say that? While physically Pink is very much present at this fantasy, mentally, however, he still hangs by a string, managing to differentiate between the real him and the new, more aggressive persona in his place built from his traumatic experiences in the past and a journey towards self-discovery interrupted by the doctor's shot in Comfortably Numb. And they sent us along as a surrogate band. We're gonna find out where you fans really stand. Indeed, during live performances of The Wall, Pink Floyd would really send a surrogate band to play this song. The line, "We're gonna find out where you fans really stand," suggests that certain portions of the audience are not true fans and must be weeded out. This is a tactic that has been used by many fascist and authoritarian leaders throughout history and still is used today. Find a scapegoat whom the majority can blame for all their problems and use that blame and anger to consolidate power and secure the loyalty of the masses. Sounds a bit like Donald Trump. uh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. That might anger some people in the comments. But if you're a Trump supporter, I don't know. I don't at this point. Like he's done some crazy stuff. Um, are there any? But like I just don't know if I want to even leave that in the video because like I don't want to get political in these videos. But anyway, are there any queers in the theater tonight? Get them up against the wall. Wow. Now there's one in the spotlight. He don't look right to me. Get him up against the wall. And that one looks Jewish, and that one's a coon who let all this riffraff into the room. Okay, so now I'm starting to understand the dictator perspective. So he's actually turning into... Oh my god. There's one smoking a joint and another with spots. If I had my way, I'd have all of you shot. Okay, let's keep going. He's basically insane at this point, but I thought he already went insane at like Goodbye Cruel World, but apparently he was just losing it at that point. But now he's gone insane. I shouldn't be laughing, but yeah, it's a fictional character, but it is based on true stories, so that's kind of why I'm like, I shouldn't really be laughing. Okay, let's keep going. Run Like Hell. And this is track number 9, or if we're counting disc number 1, it's track number... Oh, I can't do math. Number 22? Yeah, I think. But track number 9 on the second disc, Run Like Hell. Let's keep going. Let's do the transition. Ooh. Hold up. Ooh. Oh, I like this one. Damn, so much emotion in this voice. Ooh. So, is he telling people to like run away from him now? Ooh, there's a synth solo? Ooh. Woohoo! I wish that solo was a bit longer. This album's just been such an adventure. I'm getting hungry at this point. Like, I should have ate before this. My stomach is growling. Anyway, yeah, it's just. This is. I feel like this album. I feel like the second disc feels like a completely different album. I don't know. Like, almost in a way, because I feel like every single song is kind of changing up a lot. Um, Even though it, like I mentioned this in the first video, and it's still like keeping the same style, if that makes sense, but the songs are different, and I feel like on the second disc, maybe they went for more strings, more horns, maybe more. I don't know. It just feels different. Anyway, let's go through the lyrics. Run. You better make your face up with your favorite disguise, with your button down lips and your roller blind eyes. Feel the bile rising from your guilty past, with your nerves in tatters as the cockle shell shatters. There's no more apt description of Pink's current state than that feeling of the bile rising from your guilty past. What with the bitter sting of a lifetime of repressed emotions erupting to the surface in the guise of his new fascist persona, possibly borrowing a symbol from William Golding's novel Lord of the Flies, in which the pivotal destruction of a conch shell symbolizes the overthrow of order by chaos. Fascist Pink defiantly declares his former self's nerves in tatters as the cockleshell shatters, sounding very much like conch shell shatters when sung. essentially issuing in the reign of. If he wanted to say conch shell shatters, then he would have said that. I mean, these annotations are kind of making me mad this video. You know, I'm not even gonna finish that. Let's keep going. I've been reading too many lyrics. Waiting for the worms. Wow. Is that Roger? I like the vocals. Oh. What is he talking about?
Would you like to see Britannia rule again? My friend, all you have to do is follow words. Would you like to send our colored cousins home again? My friend, all you need to do is follow
All you need to do is follow the worms. There is just so much depth to this shit. It's just crazy. I'm honestly having a bit of trouble here keeping up with everything on first listen. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do this by taking this slow. But wow. You know, I'm not saying that I have to understand. I don't have to understand this, but it would be nice to. But on first listen, especially when it's something this complex, complicated, it's hard to fully get the meaning. But yeah. Alright, let's go through these lyrics. I don't know what that means. Oh, it means 1, 2, 3, all in German. You cannot reach me now, no matter how you try. Goodbye, cruel world, it's over. Walk on by. So basically, he's all beyond reach now. He's saying this both wishfully and factually. In the first half of the album, he was alone in misery and despair. His new fascist personality stands alone in uniform and pride. Fascist pink is similar to David Bowie's Thin White Duke in Station to Station, both in appearance and hateful depression. Interesting. I think, like, once you... did I already mention this? I don't know. But once you dig yourself into that hole, and once you're in that hole, it's really hard to get out of it. And the deeper you go into that hole, the harder it is to get out of it. So I think at this point he's really deep in the hole. Things are not coming through to him at all at this point, and he's basically it already felt like he shut people off earlier in the album, but now he's like, it's just like a brick solid wall. That was kind of cringe. But yeah, you know what I mean. It's like very solid. And goodbye, cruel world, it's over. He bids goodbye to the cruel world once again, though this time his farewell is spoken more out of sorrowful realization over what he's done, rather than the egotistical need for self-isolation that ended the album's first half. So it's like more serious now. Sitting in a bunker here behind my wall, waiting for the worms to come. In perfect isolation here behind my wall, waiting for the worms to come. He has discovered that his perfect isolation is far from ideal, not the quiet solitude from the insanity of the world that he had imagined, but in reality a vicious war between the opposing forces of his mind, the worms. Okay. And I don't know what this part is about. I'll just skip over it. To cut out the dead wood, to clean up the city, to follow the worms, to weed out the weaklings. Would you like to see Britannia rule again? Would you like to see us rule again, my friend? All you have to do is follow the worms. At this point, Pink seems to truly understand and embrace the failure of the building of his wall. The recognition of the existence of these worms that eat away at his sanity and further bring out his fascist dictator personality shows both to him and the listener the cynical irony of the whole album, that in Pink's attempts at isolation from the world, he creates a movement Rather than pushing people away, he brings them together in this hate-filled movement. Would you like to send our colored cousins home again? What? A defining goal of fascism is national homogeny, with the forceful removal or extermination of ethnic minorities. Jesus. Being seen as necessary for the nation's return to greatness. Yeah, this is... it's just like crazy how people have and had that mindset. That is crazy. People of all colors and all cultures all add in their own way. And actually, like, having diversity has shown to lead to more creative ideas and more what's the word? It leads to more perspectives, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's just like, yeah, how can you think that they, I don't know. All you have to do is, okay, let's keep going. Interesting track. Let's see where it goes now. Where this is, I have no clue how this is going to end, but let's just see. Track number 11, Stop. And then I'll let it transition into the trial. Huh. He's starting to wake up. Wait, so he turned himself in for his crimes or something? Whoa. What is going on?
Good morning, worm, your honor. The crowd
Oh.
plainly show the prisoner who now stands before you was caught red-handed, showing feelings.
Wow, the horns.
Showing feelings of an almost human nature. This will not do. Call the schoolmaster. We said it come to no good, deadly, and
Is he coming as a witness? Dude, the instrumentation on this one. Oh my god. What?
You
Worm, Your Honor. Now we get the wife and the mother. This is one of the craziest songs I've heard. The fuck did...
The evidence before the court is incontrovertible. There's no need for the jury to retire. In all my years of judging, I have never heard before of someone more deserving of the full penalty of law.
Holy...
White mother fills me with the urge to defecate. Since, my friend, you have revealed your deepest fulfillment,
What?
I sentence you to be exposed before your peers. Tear down the wall.
I just got chills. I didn't think I would be crying again. Twice in one video. It got me. That was so special. That was such an amazing piece of music. Everything about it, man. The characters, it was just like a story. It was like a whole story in a song. It's crazy. It's like each one of these songs tells a story so well, and it follows the storyline so well from each song, from song to song, and I'm just simply blown away. I've never heard something like a concept album. That's hard. I don't know. This is one of the best concept albums I've ever heard, and the transitions between tracks are just perfect. Okay, let's read the lyrics. Good morning, worm, your honor. The crown will plainly show the prisoner who stands before you was caught red-handed. So the worm is the judge? In his opening remarks, the prosecutor addresses the judge as Worm, Your Honor, a title that recalls that well-used symbol of decay found throughout the second half of the album. Couple this with the lawyer proclaiming to speak on the behalf of the crown, one can easily imagine Waters poking fun at the British judicial system, insinuating that those who govern the lives of everyday citizens are little more than fops and closed-minded fools. In terms of the narrative, however, the title Worm also suggests that the lawyer and the judge, and jury for that matter, those characters who aren't based on the memories of actual people, are entirely products of decay, birthed, as it were, from Pink's wall. And so, having been created out of this delirious isolation, it is only appropriate that the highest authority figure in Pink's delusion, the judge, is addressed as Worm. Interesting. Maybe because also the judge is called the Worm because the decay, the worm, is what caused Roger to, or not Roger, is what caused Pink to go on the trial in the first place. Okay, that made no sense. I think their interpretation was a bit more correct, but there is a reason why they chose the judge to be the worm. Maybe the worm is the judge of Pink. And there is some connection there. I don't know. It was caught red-handed, showing feelings of an almost human nature. I always said he'd come to no good in the end, Your Honor. If they'd let me have my way, I could have flayed him into shape, but my hands were tied. The bleeding hearts and artists let him get away with murder. Let me hammer him today. Crazy toys in the attic, I am crazy. Truly gone fishing. They must have taken my marbles away. I don't know if I want to go through all of this. There must have been a door there in the wall when I came in. Crazy over the rainbow. There must have been a door there in the wall when I came in. The door is inexistent because he has been building the wall around him by himself since his childhood. In addition, the only way to get out of it is by tearing it down. This trial is completely in Pink's head, and because of this, he knows the judge is going to make him tear down the wall. As a last resort, Pink is desperately searching for a door out the wall so he doesn't have to tear it down and he can go back to it instead of destroying it. That makes sense. Finding there is no easy way to escape the wall without destroying it, Pink now has to make a decision. Should he tear down the wall? The judge. The evidence before the court is incontrovertible. There's no need for the jury to retire. In all my years of judging, I have never before of someone more deserving of the full penalty of law. The way you made them suffer, your exquisite wife and mother, fills me with the urge to defecate. Since, my friend, you have revealed your deepest fear, I sentence you to be exposed before your peers. Tear down the wall. So, him being exposed for his wrongdoings and what he's done, and him being held accountable for what he's done, has led to the judge wanting him to tear down the wall. Because the wall is what has caused this in the first place. This is what has caused him to go insane, and him shutting himself off and the isolation has caused him to go insane. And now the judge is saying to tear it down. Interesting. I think that's my interpretation. And now the crowd joins too and also says to tear down the wall, and then we get the wall teared down. Interesting. Let's go to the last track. Outside the wall.
Walk up and down outside the wall. Some hand in hand, and some gathered together in bands. The bleeding hearts and the artists make their stand. When they've given you their all, some stagger and fall. After all, it's not easy. Banging your heart against some mad buggy's wall.
That's quite an abrupt ending. And that's it. That's The Wall by Pink Floyd. Very emotional album. Let's go through these lyrics first before I talk about the album. But all alone or in twos, the ones who really love you walk up and down outside the wall, some hand in hand, and some gathered in bands. The bleeding hearts and the artists make their stand, and when they've given you their all, some stagger and fall. After all, it's not easy, banging your heart against some mad bugger's wall. Banging your heart against some mad bugger's wall. As technically the final lines of the album, these words serve as a final warning to the listener, advising them to heed the message of the final song, looking beyond the societal stance to focus on the listener themselves as an individual. Here, Waters warns the listener not to hide behind their own wall forever. Really? Oh my god. People can only try and help you for so long. If their attempts ultimately fail, they will have to leave you for their own sake, let the people in, and tear down the wall. Yeah. Yeah, you have to let people in order to tear down the wall, maybe. And maybe that's kind of what he's saying here. Alright. The moral of the story: there will almost always be personal and social barriers erected out of fear, oppression, pain, and isolation. It's the job of every socially conscious individual and community to never rest in tearing down the walls that separate us. The lines which fade out at the end, "Isn't this where," are possibly the most depressing part of the whole album. With the opening lines of "In the flesh," they form the complete sentence, "Isn't this where we came in?" Isn't this where we came in? What does that mean? It completes the cyclical nature of the wall as an endless circle of building and pulling down the wall. Ah. Interesting. The implication being that the whole brutal, terrifying process of the wall is about to start again. That's an interesting end. How it fits the ending lines with the beginning lines of the album. Oh, well, that's gonna be it. Focus, please. That's The Wall by Pink Floyd. Like I said, very emotional, and I think there were some of the best vocals on any Pink Floyd album on here that I've heard. The backing vocals, the instrumentation on some of these tracks were just insane. I could go on forever talking about it, but I kind of talked a lot about it throughout the video. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna conclude it up kind of quickly here. And like I did for the first disc, I don't think I'm gonna be able to give my favorites off this first listen. I don't know. I was able to do it for other albums, but I don't know why I'm not really able to do it for this album. I just need more listens, I feel like, with this album, because it's more lyrically dense and more dense in general, I guess. This was a really dense album, and the story was told beautifully and made perfect sense to me. And yeah, I have some more Pink Floyd in the future to listen to. But I'm kind of reaching the end here. But someone in my last video told me that there's still some more to like the rabbit hole. The Pink Floyd rabbit hole does go deep. So yeah, I still have the final cut and a momentary lapse of reason. I've heard that the final cut is a solid album, but I've heard mixed things about A Momentary Lapse of Reason, and The Endless River. I already listened to The Division Bell, unfortunately. I don't know why I listened to that album kind of early. Uh, Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know why I listened to The Division Bell. Something about it may have stuck out to me. Um, but yeah, that's gonna conclude it for the video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please leave a like and a sub if you enjoyed. That would be very appreciated. I really should mention that more, uh, like in the beginning of the video, to leave a like and sub. I always forget because I always start yapping. But yeah, I have a Discord server as well in the description if anyone would like to join. And yeah, see you Pink Floyd fans later for the final cut, which we'll be doing next, which interestingly was released 4 years after The Wall. And then the Momentary Lapse of Reason was released 4 years after the final cut. I don't know when Roger left the band. I'm gonna have to look that up. Maybe he left after the final cut, or did he leave after A Momentary Lapse? I don't know. Anyway, that's gonna conclude it. Thanks for watching, and peace out.